Edu has been confirmed as part of Nottingham Forest's hierarchy. We might miss him. He did a good job. But Arsenal's new sporting director, Andrea Berta, is cooking. Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk. Back again with you guys and girls for another episode of what is the Arsenal Transfer Show. Joining you every single morning at 8 a.m. UK time. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you've had an absolutely fantastic start to your week and your weekend was good as well. Thank you to all of you that are listening and tuning in as regularly as you are. It is indeed greatly appreciated. And if you could drop a like and subscribe to the channel, that would mean a lot. We hit 64,000 subscribers yesterday. So thank you to those of you that are brand new to the channel and that you are enjoying the content over the course of this summer window. Make sure you stick with us throughout the course of the season. We still do these shows every single morning, whether there's a transfer window open or not. Our dedication to this community goes well beyond just transfer windows. So thank you to all of you that are indeed listening, but greatly appreciate you being here. And speaking of dedication, Owen Young has been a member now for 5 years and still waiting for the Benzema announcement. So much so that he can't spell his name right, but he's still waiting for the Benzema announcement. And I don't blame him. Where is Benzema? We all need to know. Where is Jenny Lizarazu and telling us about Benzema when he's coming to the club? That's the answer that's the question that we're asking this morning. Anyway, thank you to you all for tuning in and listening. Really appreciate your time. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic week so far, and that indeed the rest of it is going to be good as well. I had a great day yesterday. It was chill, got work done, had a barbecue, had friends over from work, and just really enjoyed I just love a barbecue. You know, and I know that Arsenal are quite synonymous with barbecues these days and working the grill, but Andrea Berta is cooking up a store at Arsenal. We're going to talk about the latest, of course, with all of that. I did mention Edu, and indeed he has been confirmed to be part of this new Nottingham Forest group. He's head of global head of football. Nottingham Forest, the club that announced it, of course, we expect him to be involved with a number of Marinakis' clubs, which of course include a number of other teams as well across Europe. But it was Nottingham Forest that announced Edu's involvement with them and the role of which he is undertaking as well. But yes, it's an interesting story. But Arsenal at the moment, well, that's fair to say they're not missing him. I think that would be the right thing to say at this point in time. Good morning to Simple Unity, to Stevie, to Brian, to Errol, to Amaka, Vivian, Kim. Good morning to Rob, Grantley Poos. Good morning to James and Black Shun and Scouse Gunner and Paul. Loga, NSW, Glenn, Big Smoke, James, Steve, Matt G, Colin, PJ, Pat, Paul, Mark, Z, Jamil, Lee. That's so many of you more as well, of course, in the chat box. Thank you so many of you for listening and greatly appreciate you being here. But we've discussed that not Arsenal news and talk about the Arsenal news. And we begin with Taylor Hinds, who has been announced as Arsenal's brand new signing after arriving from her time with Liverpool, of course, where her contract expired. 26 years of age. Loads of her career still, of course, remains at the club and in her career in general. And joining the club and speaking to the Arsenal website, she says, "I'm so proud to have signed for Arsenal. I want to push, compete, and be winning trophies. And this club encompasses all of that, both on and off the pitch. You can see what the direction Arsenal is going in, and everyone at the club wants to win. This is a full circle moment for me, and I'm grateful to come back to a place I called home when I was younger. I can't wait to get started and to step out on the pitch at the Emirates in front of all of our incredible supporters." Renee Sleggers said, "We're delighted to welcome Taylor back to Arsenal. She's a versatile player who has great experience with multiple seasons in the WSL with Liverpool, where she took on a leadership role. I'm excited to get started with Taylor on the training pitch, and I'm sure our supporters will join me in welcoming Taylor back to the club." And speaking of welcoming back to the club, it's because, of course, she was at the club a long time ago. It's a wonderful announcement video. The Zubimendi video was awesome, but Taylor Hinds' announcement video was just wonderful. It was an absolutely beautiful piece of choreography and storytelling. And you know me, I love absolutely love announcement videos. I do. I can't get enough of them. I just absolutely love that. But it is, of course, with announcement videos that you can just see kind of different things being told and different stories and narratives. And I love the choreography of Zubimendi's kind of speed and symphony and timing and passing. And that was great. And that really told the great story. And I don't think as many people appreciated that video for what it was. But Taylor Hinds' announcement video as well was just another storytelling of a young player at Arsenal coming home. And I really did appreciate that. So it was very good indeed. And we're just hoping to close out the Norgaard situation. Of course, David Ornstein reporting this morning that Arsenal have completed the signing. Of course, for those of you that live on the basis that deal is not closed until they are holding up the Arsenal shirt on the Arsenal website, well, that, of course, is what we're expecting to happen this week. It is a deal that is of £10 million and up to £2 million in bonuses, according to David. Same deal, of course, that Jorginho signed for. It's a little bit of a kind of a nice narrative there, if you will. £12 million deal, £2 million in add-ons, £10 million upfront. And, of course, agreed. Medical and personal terms are done. Announcement this week, viewed as a good deal by Arsenal, Brentford, and for the Denmark International as well. And that's part of a deal sheet piece, of course, that the Athletic release every week. And we got some more information from that article about some of the other situations going on with Arsenal that we'll talk about as well. Some excellent work, as always, by James McNicholas as well in the Athletic, who spoke on the Arsecast this week. And I just want to detract from our stories quickly to mention, if you haven't listened to the Arsecast, I recommend that you do. It was an uncomfortable listen to hear the emotion in that podcast, and particularly, from James. But as I've mentioned to you before, I personally, I'm going to be the coward here, and I'm happy to hold my hands up and say I'm going to be the coward in this and stick to the legal advice I'm, of course, given and that I'm asked to follow. And people are given different advice and want to do different things. But I guess all I can do is recommend you go and listen to the Arsecast. Please go and listen to it. Because as I've said, I've got a lot of opinions. I'm going to talk about my opinions when I am effectively given a green light to be able to do so. And in no way do I think, that there's prejudice going on there. But go and listen to it. Because I think James can put things a lot better than I can in a lot of ways. And that's my recommendation. Just go and listen to the Arsecast. Please, please, please do. But continuing on with our stories today, Eberechi Eze, of course, is also of interest to Arsenal. Miguel Delaney in the Independent has been speaking particularly about kind of the structure that Arsenal would need to undergo, the structure that they want to achieve with a deal for Eberechi Eze. And would like to do a deal for the Crystal Palace attacking midfielder in the ilk of, in the ilk of effectively looking into trying to not have to sell a key player and still try and do a deal for Eze. That's what they would like to do. But it might be a, what's the word? It might be difficult. I don't know if difficult's even the right word here. It might be challenging to avoid having to sell. Now, we've heard these reports about Leandro Trossard, of course, and potentially moving to Fenerbahce. Can't say that I've been able to confirm those stories on my end, but certainly there's been rumours. Al Nasser and Martinelli, that's been kind of been scrubbed away and not really considered to be a realistic proposition at this point in time. But Trossard and Fenerbahce, I haven't been able to scrub that one. So certainly it's an open scenario with Arsenal's attackers, and that we could still see a significant exit. And that doesn't mean necessarily a huge sale, but an exit of a player who has significance in the Arsenal squad. I think that's worth pointing out. But Eze remains a key figure for Arsenal to consider. Enzo Maresca has been speaking again in regards to Madueke, of course, linked heavily with a move to Arsenal, and is considered to be a key player that Arsenal would like to sign during this window. And he was asked once again in the press conference before their semi-final fixture, and he says, "We had the same noise before the Palmeiras game, and we gave him half an hour, and he was very good. I don't have any doubts that if we need Noni, he will help us. I can understand when there is noise around you. It is difficult to deal with that." It's interesting how much, the wording has changed. In the initial kind of answer from Maresca, he started talking about, we only want players that, want to be here. Now he's saying, I have no doubts that if we need Noni, he will help us. I can understand there is noise. It's difficult to deal with that. It's a strange one. It's a strange one to see kind of such a significant change, if you like, between the two press conferences, and how maybe with Arsenal progressing and Noni having in that time agreed personal terms, that now Enzo Maresca is a little concerned that he might be losing his player to Arsenal. Does that say something about the player that Arsenal are getting, and something about what I feel is an overblown reaction from a lot of Arsenal fans about this potential deal? But certainly, I think it's an interesting answer from Enzo, and looking into the psychology of how that has changed between the first press conference and the second. So that is, for me, an interesting psychological difference between the two answers, and of course how the situation between Noni Madueke has changed in that kind of time frame, if you will. Couple more stories for you. This coming from that piece I mentioned regarding Arsenal's transfers in the Athletic from James McNicholas, if my voice can hold out this long. And that is, of course, on the potential of signing Rodrygo. Arsenal are considered to have held preliminary talks about a potential move. And while other players like Gordon and Ademola Lookman have been discussed, Arsenal are unwilling to match the valuation of the Nigerian. It's worth pointing out in that sense. But it remains to be seen if signings like Rodrygo could be dependent upon potential outgoings right now. And that's what we've just, of course, talked about. And the players that are mentioned that could leave, Fabio Vieira being one of them. He will report for pre-season, but the club would be willing to listen to offers for him. And the same goes for Zinchenko and, of course, Reece Nelson. Leandro Trossard is the interesting one as well. There's also a 17-year-old Blackburn Rovers player by the name of Igor Tijon, who is considered to be a target as well for the youth side, although nothing yet has broken through. There was reports of a £1 million bid being turned down, but so far no breakthrough on that. But Rodrygo remains a player, of course, Arsenal are aware of, and whether or not he decides to leave Real Madrid remains to be seen, but they will be there. There were some reports about Manchester City also being aware of the scenario and potentially willing to enter the race for Rodrygo as well. So certainly this is a story I imagine, as I've been telling you, probably will run and run and run through, of course, and maybe into August as well. We'll wait and see. Of course, though, today's focus really is on Andrea Berta and the work that he is doing. And one of the big pieces of work that Andrea Berta is working on right now is a deal for Viktor Gyokeres. And he is in Portugal, has been in Portugal, and in discussions with Sporting to try and close out this transfer, to try and complete this deal. Sporting remain, and the president, Frederico Varandas, has wanted 70 million euros as a guaranteed fee. Arsenal at the moment, and have been previously looking around 65 million euros, both of those cases with, of course, add-ons. Arsenal, supposedly, according to Portuguese media, willing to offer 15 million euros in add-ons, but Sporting want 10 with that 70 guaranteed. And that €5 million difference at the moment remains, but also reports in Portugal suggesting that Gyökeres has packed his bags and that he's already ready to make this trip. The player has done all he can. I don't think we can have any question marks about the effort that Viktor Gyökeres has put in to try and get this deal done. He has done everything within his power, within his means, of course, to look into this and to try and make this happen. But at the moment, we're still waiting for that confirmation of a deal being struck between the clubs. As soon as we get that, we, of course, will be celebrating it, I imagine. And finally, this striker saga coming to a close. I can't wait for it to be over and to just have whoever it is, a centre forward in the club having been properly signed. It's just so relieving to have this story nearly at its end. Speaking of its end, that brings the end to part 1, which means we're going to jump now to part 2. Your questions and more right after this. Right, this is part 2 of today's show where we'll be jumping into the chat box and tackling some of your questions. So if you've got questions you'd like to throw in, of course, that I'm able to answer, I will do my absolute best in aiming to do such things. So please do start throwing in with a capital Q and I'll try. There's over 2,000 of you watching. Thank you so much to all of you that are tuning in and listening in. Do drop a like. Of course, we try and reach 1,000 likes on the show every single day. If you can help us on our way to doing that, you'll be doing a massive favour. Quick update, of course. I realise I didn't leave a time frame on the whole TGT troll bingo card submissions from yesterday. We've had a few come in over the last 24 hours, and I imagine that some people will be like, oh, I don't know how long I've got to send them in. Let's say by tomorrow morning show, so end of play today, we'll say is the cutoff to submit your TGT troll bingo cards. I've had some great ones. I'm going to probably put it up to you, the listeners, to vote on which becomes the official Arsenal TGT, not Arsenal, but the TGT troll bingo card, which we've been looking to create for quite some time on the channel. But we've had some very impressive submissions so far. So let's say end of play today is your chance to submit and have your design as our official TGT troll bingo card. So get those in by end of play today. You can send them to me on Twitter at the Gooner Talk TV or on Instagram at the Gooner Talk. You can find me on both of those places as well. Right. Don says Tom probably spent some time playing bingo with his grandma. No. Scrabble. Scrabble was a game, Donald, that we played, certainly, before she sadly passed away a few years ago. Scrabble was the game. And my what's the word? Vocabulary was not as good as it is now. Quite frankly, I would have wiped the floor with her now. But she regularly beat me and checked out before I could ever turn around the scores. I respect it. The ultimate win. Gary says, Tom, thoughts on Chelsea being fined by UEFA for financial irregularities and told to get finances in order before the end of the window or face possible embargoes regarding transfers or possibly banned from UEFA competitions? I mean, is anyone surprised? Is anyone surprised? I don't think so. I don't think anybody is surprised. And I really do think that, you know, this is going to be a commonplace in the game, not particularly Chelsea, but in the game, we're going to see this. Of course, Aston Villa facing punishments as well. It's going to be a regularity. So my thoughts are, I'm entirely unsurprised. That's my thoughts. Do I think it will really hamstring them? Probably not. Probably not. I don't know what amount of fines could ever really hamstring a club for breaking. Surely, by the amount that they have broken those restrictions, that should be the fine. No, it should double the amount. I don't know if it is, to be fair. I'm not sure by how much they have broken the rulings, but you'd feel like by that much they should have to pay it again on top of whatever they've gone over. If that's even enough, maybe that's not enough to dissuade clubs from doing such things. I don't know. I don't run a football club. It's very difficult to know that. Chino says, Tom, is the club announcing Norgaard today? Just like you, I love watching announcement videos. Don't know about that one. We're expecting it this week. I don't know if it will be today. It might be tomorrow. It could be the day after. I don't know. But with the medical done, you'd assume that there's a chance. There's a chance. Imminent announcement is what I'd be happy describing the Norgaard situation as. An imminent. We're obsessed now. We're addicted. We're addicted to transfer announcements. We have been blessed and spoiled with them. We've had 4 so far. Chloe Kelly, Taylor Hinds, Kepa, Elizabeth Largo, and now Martin Zubimendi, of course. So we've been spoiled to this point with so many, and we just want more. Give us more announcements, please. Crucial question. What's the new chant for Zubimendi? Is it Kaiser Chiefs? Zubi-dooby-doo. It could be that one. Or is it the... no, I was thinking of the wrong song. You were going with Ruby, weren't you? What was I going with? That's the name of the song, isn't it? It's just na 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 na. That's the Kaiser Chiefs song. But also you've got Zubi Zubi Zubi. But I was thinking of the other one. I'm sure it's just called na 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 na, the Kaiser Chiefs song. Tell me if I'm wrong. If we've got any very big Kaiser Chiefs fans in the chat box today. My dad was a big one, so I had it in the car often playing when I was a kid. But it's definitely employment. It is na 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 na. Yes, it is. I was right. It's 100%. But it's the Scooby-Doo version of the song of the Zooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Which has to go down as one of the most embarrassing Liverpool memes of all time. And when we go to Anfield, and trust me, it's going to be a very somber time. Let's be very honest about that. Going to Anfield this season is going to be unlike from my age bracket, because I know a lot of fans have been through some very, very sad times with Liverpool Football Club regarding their history. But with Diogo Jota, it's going to be a somber time. But there will be a time where that somber nature passes and the classic football rivalry, back and forth, jovialness will return, perhaps even in that game. And with, of course, Zubimendi signing and there being all the narrative around that, you can imagine that the Zubi-Dooby-Doo song being sung at Anfield or just when Liverpool visit the Emirates will be after, I think, the context that needs to be paid to the first meeting between the two sides. It will be, I think, a joyous thing and just a fun taking the mick type thing, that, and it's a really light-hearted song. It's not anything sordid or too mischievous. It's just, the Zubi-Dooby-Doo is I know a very, very just a very, very funny song. But without a doubt, comes second to the respects that, of course, need to be paid. Joe says, surely 10 out of 10 window if we can. Rodrygo, Eze and Gyökeres into the already added before the season starts. I mean, if we can add a Rodrygo, Eze and Gyökeres into the team this season, be it before the season starts or not, because I think the Rodrygo one could rumble. Eze could rumble. As long as those three are in before the window closes, woof. Not a Scooby-Doo reference, just woof. It would be unbelievable to see that happen. Gary says, they're desperate to sell, which nobody is talking about. I find it weird if you take Mudryk and Madueke away from the conversation. They still have 9 wingers, and they're all being linked with a move away as well. Daniel says, what's the story of Max Dowman? Is it true that he might leave? There's been no indication that Max Dowman is going anywhere right now. Ashley says, only way Rodrygo, Eze and Noni Madueke are coming is if Ethan's game time or if Leo and Nelly are sold. People thinking don't sign Noni. He's coming because of Ethan was figured out on the right wing. Saka had an injury and he's been key for Tuchel for World Cup qualifications. Yeah, look, Noni Madueke is seen as the backup to Saka if he joins and potentially being used on the left-hand side in periods where we need somebody there. But equally, Ethan Nwaneri is not seen as the right-hand side player anymore. He is seen as an 8/10. That's always what he's been seen as, but he deputised on the right because we had no depth. I do find it stunning how many people have forgotten the situation Arsenal found themselves in last season, the injuries that we suffered. It's stunning to me how quickly some people have forgotten that, are still wondering how on earth all these players are going to fit into the fold. We've got 4 competitions to play. We've got a lot of fixtures to get through, and injuries will inevitably take place. We need depth. We need this talent in attack. We're going for the title and multiple trophies. Please, please spare me the details about wondering how we fit all these players into the squad. We need them all. We're going to need them all. And that, I think, is just a key point to take away from the whole forward discussion in transfers. What is that noise? Can you hear that? That's ridiculously loud. Someone's moving a planet outside my house. Owen says, I think Brentford on loan is a move for Ethan. A great club with all their outgoings. Who will be plenty of game time. A loan, I get it. People, the loan could work. But we need the depth. We absolutely need the depth. Top Dog says, when we're short, people are like, we need depth. And we get players in and people are like, where are they going to play? I know, it's absolutely mental. Kevin says, I think people are just concerned for Nwaneri's minutes and forget that he was filling in for that position. I mean, if you're concerned for Nwaneri's minutes, he played nearly 40 appearances last season as an 18-year-old attacking player in an Arsenal side that contained a lot of attacking players, even with our injuries. Played 37 games last season. I'm sorry, but I don't really get the concern right now. I get with players coming in, it can change. But yeah, people said they couldn't hear anything. I just have a really good microphone, clearly, because it was ridiculously loud. Other Owen, sorry that you're called Other Owen. It's just when you've got two Owens that spelt the same way, it's different. I appreciate it. And you have come in after our Owen. Other Owen says, if Madueke is willing to be a Saka backup, that's an unbelievable signing. Who cares about the price? Saka backup is so hard to find. I do have doubts he's up for that, given what I've already heard about his character. I get that, but again, I have like a limit that I'm willing to pay for Madueke, and going well upwards of £50 million is not really what I'm comfortable paying for that player. Bailey says the sad thing is we're now introducing youth don't go hand in hand very well. It's a very, very fair point. Soup says if we sign Eze and Havertz is going to play more in midfield, Ethan will have a lot of competition. If we want to use him and Dowman, maybe we will have to have some sort of loan deal. And it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we have a loan deal for Nwaneri. It wouldn't be a bad idea for Nwaneri necessarily, but I am conscious of the situation that we got ourselves into last season. And I don't want to be in a situation like that again. I really, really don't. Arsenal could have recalled Fabio Vieira in January. They should have recalled Fabio Vieira in January. They didn't, and I think we paid the price for that last season. Freddie says, do you think the signing of Eze and playing him on the left could help get more out of Calafiori, as he can then bomb forward inside the touchline whilst Eze cuts inside? It depends how much Calafiori is going to play, because Lewis Skelly is going to be that starter. I think we all know Lewis Skelly is going to be that player, but I don't know how much Calafiori will end up being able to play. It will depend upon rotation and fixtures and injuries and a lot of other things. A man says, to what extent will signing Madueke prevent other potential business? It sounds like it will be difficult to go after other players. And the honest answer is we don't know entirely. It depends upon the structure of certain deals. It depends upon what Arsenal can get a deal agreed for Gyökeres. It depends what they could agree with Palace for Eze. It depends what they could do in terms of outgoings for Leo, for Kivior, for Fabio. Not for Kivior. I guess for Kivior if a big bid were to come in. But more so, of course, for Leo and Zinchenko and Vieira. If they can Hello. Oh, my days. It's so annoying. Have we got the right microphone? Yes, we do. Oh, I can't tell you how frustrating it is. I can't, and I'm not using my Wi-Fi. I'm on my phone's hotspot. Like, I can't explain to you how frustrating it is when you put in so much work into something and you've invested a lot of money into building a studio and we haven't had these issues before, and I don't know why they're happening now. It's so irritating. Like, I reckon I'm gonna have to go out today. I've got a day off today, so I'm gonna make it a mission of mine to sort this out. But it's just like, why? Like, why? It's so annoying to have to deal with on a regular basis, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know why it's happening now. I don't know why suddenly the internet dips out. I don't know why it didn't do it before, but does it now? Because it doesn't just happen in this room anymore. For some reason, it's happening in other rooms. It's just dipping out. The connection just drops and comes back. And I don't get why. We're with Virgin. I don't know if this is a synonymous thing with Virgin, but it's just like, why? Why does this keep happening? It's so annoying. The internet is so fast. I could do you an internet speed check right now. It's not to do with the amount of money I pay for my internet, because the internet that we use is so quick. I'm doing a speed check right now. We're going well over 150 megabits per second. It's very quick internet. It just dips for no reason, pops off, and then goes. It's such a strange scenario. And I'm not wired at the moment, Ryan, no, but it's something that we're going to work at. But it's a big job getting a whole wire to run from one room into another room to the extent that needs to be wired. So, yeah. Oh, it's gutting. It's really, 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 really annoying. But yeah. That's is what it is. Anyway, I'm struggling to have the motivation to continue on with this show this morning. But I will be back tomorrow after a day of trying to sort this stupid internet, which really tests my family-friendly approach to podcasting. But there it is. Anyway, we're going to be talking to a couple of friends of ours, and we're joining Harry on a little bit later on his channel for a show and some other things as well. But yeah. It is what it is right now. We're going to get it sorted, don't you, Ari? It's just, it's so irritating. Anyway, it gets my blood boiling. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate your time. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. I hope a better day than I'm going to have right now. But stay safe, stay well, stay happy and respectful. And as always, up the Arsenal.